Alright, how's it going, everybody here on YouTube? It's C-RadTV. We're back here with another predictions video. There's something new, a new predictions video we're going to do. It's the in-season tournament thingy NASCAR is doing. You know, with 32 drivers for the next 5 weeks battling out for a $1 million payday. You know, honestly, this is one of those gimmicks that I can actually tolerate because there's no real impact on it for the championship. And it's honestly for fun. There are points still on the line. And it's just honestly a fun thing to do for money. So, yeah, like, if anyone wants to know about this in-season tournament, well, effectively, if you all been paying attention to Denny Hamlin NASCAR Bracket Challenge Hamlin has been doing with Dirty Mo Media the last 2 years, this is effectively it. The one thing I say to NASCAR, though, is I hope whatever success NASCAR has with this in-season tournament thing, I hope they give Hamlin royalties for it since, you know, Hamlin was the one that did come up with this damn thing after all. So, yeah, NASCAR better be sending some royalties to Hamlin. Actually, maybe on second thought, maybe not because of that whole lawsuit still going on and Hamlin might take the royalties thing as a bribe. Or trying to make a settlement for that whole lawsuit. But the one negative I do have for this bracket challenge, though, is the way they did the seeding for it, where they did it based off best finish in the last three, in the 3 seeding races of Michigan, Mexico, and Pocono. Why the hell would NASCAR do it that way? Like, honestly, NASCAR, I'll just say this. If you want people to get on board with these gimmicks, confusing the hell out of them isn't the way to do it. Like, you gotta make it simple and easy to understand. Like, I don't know why you would do it that way. Just make the seeding based off of who had the most points in the 3 races. In those 3 seeding races, damn it. And only use best finish in those 3 races as a tiebreaker if necessary. But you know, it is what it is. But, you know, hey, it's still a lot more tolerable than the current chase format, though, that's for fucking sure. Since this has no championship implications. So we got 32 drivers, 5 rounds, and this was based off the top 30, and the 32 drivers that qualified for this were the top 32 in points after Nashville. Yeah, Nashville. So yeah, the 4 drivers, so out of and that's 32 of the full-time 36 drivers. The 4 drivers that did not qualify for this were the Kiwi, Shane Van Gisbergen, despite him winning at Mexico. Because, well, Kiwi's been pretty bad on the ovals this year. Like, his only 2 good races have been the 2 road course races of COTA and his win at Mexico. That's literally it. And the shocking part is, Kiwi could probably win one of these, could probably win either Chicago or Sonoma in this bracket challenge. But it won't matter since he's not in it. And then you got Cole Custer, who was expected to suck because it's a Haas Factory shitbox. And then you got Riley Herbst, who's a rookie in a third 2311 car that was rushed up the cup too quickly. And then you got Cody Ware, who didn't qualify because it's Cody Ware. No explanation there. But yeah, 32 drivers, 32 of America's best. Battle it out for the next 5 weeks for a $1 million payday. So, of course, our first round race, the round of 32, is Atlanta, the stupid speedway race. I should also mention this is going to be taking part on the entire portion of the TNT Summer Series. All I say for TNT is they better bring back the fucking AC/DC TNT intro. For the love of God, please bring that intro back. And before anybody says it, no to the Fuel by Metallica intro. I'll be honest, that Fuel by Metallica intro, I honestly associate that more with NBC than TNT, to be honest. Like, honestly, AC/DC TNT intro makes more sense than the Fuel by Metallica one. Because the song is literally called TNT. And on TNT Summer Series, it makes more sense. It's perfect. Perfect. Everything down to the last minuscule detail. But enough of talking about that. Let's get to the bracket itself. So for Atlanta, here are your round 1 matchups. Of course, for this though, we're going to see possibly a lot of new rivalries formed here, and maybe some old ones from back in the day revisited. So, round 1 matchups. We got Denny Hamlin versus Ty Dillon, Kyle Busch versus Brad Keselowski, an old rivalry renewed. Damn. We got Bubba Wallace versus Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman versus Joey Logano. Christopher Bell versus Ricky Stenhouse. Ross Chastain versus Eric Jones. John Hunter Nemechek versus Josh Berry. Chase Elliott versus Austin Dillon. Chase Briscoe versus Noah Gragson. Ryan Preece versus William Byron. Kyle Larson versus Tyler Reddick. Ryan Blaney versus the Michigan terrorist Carson Hocevar. Chris Buescher versus Todd Gilliland. Shane Smith versus Austin Cindric. Michael McDowell versus AJ Allmendinger. And then Ty Gibbs versus Justin Haley. So, out of these 32 drivers, which of these 16 advanced to the round of 16? So, here are the 16 drivers I have advanced into the round of 16 after Atlanta. I'll be honest, if there's a round where your bracket's going to get busted, it's most likely going to be this round because Atlanta's a stupid speedway race. And even though teams are driving in are going to be using, small teams are using the intermediate packages for this race, it's a stupid speedway race. It won't matter because it's such a luck-based crapshoot. So, in terms of drivers I got moving on, I have Denny Hamlin moving on over Ty Dillon. That needs no explanation. I got Kyle Busch moving on over Brad Keselowski. I mean, both drivers have been snake bitten with such bad luck, but Keselowski's luck this year has been even worse than Kyle Busch is. So I think Busch will move on. I got Suarez moving on over Bubba. Bubba's 2 hit or miss. I got Logano moving on over Bowman because something's going to happen to Bowman. Logano will take advantage and move on. I got Bell moving on over Stenhouse. I got Chastain moving on over Eric Jones. I got John Hunter Nemechek moving on over Josh Berry. I got Chase Elliott moving on over Austin Dillon. Elliott and that 9 team have found some speed the last couple weeks. Maybe not race-winning speed, but they've had some pretty consistent speed since the 9 team wants to do the whole Matt Kenseth 2003 season again because they didn't learn last year that Kenseth 2003 type seasons don't work in this day and age. It might work in the bracket challenge, but it won't work in a chase, that's for sure. But Elliott moves on. I got Chase Briscoe moving on over Noah Gragson. I got William Byron moving on over Ryan Preece. Byron's been a pretty good super speedway racer. I got Kyle Larson moving on over Tyler Reddick. I mean, Larson and Reddick have both been bad at Atlanta, and especially the stupid speedway form configuration, but Larson's had some better luck recently on stupid speedways to compare to Reddick. So I say Larson will move on there. I got Blaney moving on over Hocevar. I think something happens to Hocevar. Plus, Blaney's pretty much a safe pick for Atlanta. Because the Penske cars have always been some of the best cars on stupid speedways. So, I think Blaney's going to be a safer option to go here over Hocevar. I got Todd Gilliland advancing over Chris Buescher. Gilliland's been a pretty solid stupid speedway racer. So, I think he moves on over Buescher. I got Cindric moving on over Shane Smith. I mean, two of Cindric's 3 career wins have been on stupid speedways. So, again, like I said, Penske's usually have the best cars on stupid speedways. So, Penske cars are usually a safe pick to go with. I got Allmendinger moving on over McDowell. I think Allmendinger fares better at Atlanta compared to McDowell. I think something happens to McDowell and Allmendinger will take advantage of it. And then finally, I got Justin Haley moving on over Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is going to end up in a crash at Atlanta, and Haley's just going to stay out of trouble and move on. So, with all that said, here are your round 2 matchups. Denny Hamlin versus Kyle Busch. An old rivalry from JGR renewed. Teammates now rivals. In round 2, we also got Daniel Suarez versus Joey Logano. We then got Christopher Bell versus Ross Chastain. Then we got John Hunter Nemechek versus Chase Elliott. Then we got Chase Briscoe versus William Byron. Then we got Kyle Larson versus Ryan Blaney. Then we got Todd Gilliland versus Austin Cindric. And then we got AJ Allmendinger versus Justin Haley. So out of these 16, who will advance to the round of 8 and after past Chicago in the street circuit? So who will move on? Let's take a look. So here are the 8 drivers I have moving on to the round of 8 at Sonoma after the Chicago Street Circuit. So I have Kyle Busch moving on over Denny Hamlin. Yeah, I have the number 1 seed in this bracket getting knocked out in the second round. Now for Busch moving on over Hamlin, here's why. Kyle Busch has been better on the road courses overall than Denny Hamlin. Plus, I should mention one thing about Hamlin real quick. Despite Hamlin being able to beat everyone's favorite driver on every other type of track, Hamlin can't do it on a road course. Hamlin has sucked on the road courses for over a year. Like, Hamlin's last top 10 on a road course was Watkins Glen back in 2023. Hamlin has struggled on the road courses since then. Plus, Hamlin even run at Mexico a couple weeks ago. So I think Kyle Busch takes advantage of Hamlin's kryptonite, which is road courses, and I think Kyle Busch will advance to the round of 8 at Sonoma. Next up, I have Logano going on over Suarez. Like, Suarez is better on the road courses than Logano, but I think something's going to happen to Suarez at the street circuit because we've seen how much of a crapshoot the Chicago street course has been the last couple years, especially when rain is involved. I think Logano will take advantage of it and get lucky and move on and probably go a lot further than he probably should. I got Ross Chastain moving on over Christopher Bell. Like I mentioned, with how unpredictable the street circuit has been, there's a lot of chaos involved. And I think Ross Chastain excels the best under chaos compared to Christopher Bell, so I got Chastain advancing. I got Chase Elliott moving on over Nemechek because Elliott's pretty solid on road courses, so I got Elliott moving on. I got Byron moving on over Briscoe. I think something happens to Briscoe. Byron is also pretty solid on the road courses too, so I got Byron advancing. I got Kyle Larson advancing over Ryan Blaney. Larson is probably the best driver on road courses right now, behind Kiwi. I mean, Larson does have 6 road course wins. Blaney only has like 1, and that was a lucky one from 2018 when he backed into it after Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex crashed and coming to the line. And then Blaney just happened to be in the right place at the right time. See, I got Larson advancing there. I got Austin Cindric advancing over Todd Gilliland. Cindric is better on the road courses than Gilliland. And then I got Justin Haley advancing over AJ Allmendinger. I think something happens to let's be honest. Allmendinger is better on road courses than Justin Haley. But Haley's been pretty good at the street circuit. Plus, I think something happens to Allmendinger that will take him out of contention. I think Haley takes advantage and goes deep in this bracket challenge. So, for the round of 8 at Sonoma, our round of 8 matchups, we got Kyle Busch versus Joey Logano, an old rivalry renewed. We then got Ross Chastain versus Chase Elliott, another old rivalry renewed. Then we got an HMS Civil War between William Byron and Kyle Larson. And then finally we got Austin Cindric versus Justin Haley. So, out of these 8 matchups, who advances to the Final 4 at Dover? Let's find out. So, here are the 4 drivers I have advancing to the Final 4 at Dover. So, after Sonoma, I have Joey Logano advancing over Kyle Busch. Now, let me explain this one. Let's be honest, Kyle Busch is better on the road courses than Joey Logano. But like I mentioned at the start when we talked about Busch and Keselowski, Kyle Busch has been snake bitten with bad luck the last couple years. And I think Sonoma is going to be where Kyle Busch's bad luck will snake bite him once again. And Logano will take advantage of it and pull a deep run right out of his ass. Because Logano has been known for having a golden horseshoe when it comes to these kind of gimmicks. Just look at his entire career in the chase with his 3 Mickey Mouse championships. Next up, I got Chase Elliott moving on over Ross Chastain to the Final 4. Chase Elliott is better on the road courses overall than Ross the Boss. So I got Chase Elliott advancing. Also, here's the fun fact. Despite all of Chase Elliott's road course wins, he still doesn't have a win at Sonoma. That's the more shocking part, is he hasn't won Sonoma yet. And I think Elliott is overdue for a win at Sonoma at some point. So I have Chase Elliott advancing to Dover to the Final Four. And then I got Kyle Larson winning the HMS Civil War over William Byron. I think Larson is the better overall driver than Byron, and I think Larson's better on road courses than Byron. So I got Larson advancing there. And I got Austin Cindric advancing over Justin Haley. I think Cindric's going to pull a deep run out. I think Cindric's going to get some pretty favorable matchups. And I think Cindric will pull a deep run out of his ass. Plus, Cindric is better on road courses compared to Justin Haley. So yeah, overall, here are my Final Four matchups for Dover. My Final Four matchups. We got Joey Logano versus Chase Elliott. Oh, whoopee, look at this. The one driver Elliott fans hate, they will get in the Final Four. And then we got Kyle Larson versus Austin Cindric. So both my Final Four matchups are HMS versus Penske. So out of these four, who advances to the finals of this in-season tournament at the Brickyard 400? AKA, which two drivers am I jinxing this year because I don't learn my lesson? Unless this has a different energy compared to the chase format, but let's find out. So here are the two drivers I have advanced into the Brickyard 400 for the finals at Indiana for the in-season tournament. So I got Chase Elliott advancing over Joey Logano. I think Logano's luck will run out at Dover, and Chase Elliott will be in the right place at the right time. Plus, Elliott's been pretty solid at Dover. I don't think Logano hasn't even won at Dover. Logano has struggled at Dover. So I got Chase Elliott moving on there. And I got Kyle Larson advancing over Austin Cindric because, let's be honest, Dover is one of Larson's best tracks. Even despite him having one win there. It's pretty shocking he only has one win at Dover. Like, honestly, Larson should have at least 2 or 3 wins at Dover already. But yeah, But I think Larson will advance and make it to the finals too. Plus, for Logano and Cindric, I think the ghost of Tim Cindric is going to come back and haunt Penske. Because it seems like Penske and Cup and IndyCar has been snake bitten with bad luck ever since Tim Cindric got fired over that Penske cheating scandal for the Indy 500. So yeah, and that's going to cost both Penske drivers in the Final Four. So my prediction for the finals for the in-season tournament for the Brickyard 400. At Indy, the finals will be Chase Elliott versus Kyle Larson, the ultimate HMS Civil War. Elliott fans hate Larson. Larson fans hate Elliott because of Elliott's fan base. The ultimate fan base Civil War. All I say is to Spacewell Ferrari 248, if you want peace between Elliott and Larson fans, you ain't getting it here. If this is the finals, that's for sure. So yeah, the Brickyard 400. So, let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people are saying Chase Elliott's overdue for a Brickyard win, but I think Larson has the clear edge over Elliott considering Larson's experience with Indy cars in the Indy 500. Plus, Larson did win the Brickyard 400 a year ago. And I'll be honest, I think it's going to come down to a 1-2 finish between these two. But of course, in Elliott and Larson's career, in the Cup Series and points paying races, so no All-Star race included or Xfinity or any of that bullshit. Elliott and Larson in the Cup have finished 1-2 8 times. Out of those 8 times, Kyle Larson has won 7 of those occasions. So I think with everything said, when it comes down to Elliott versus Larson head-to-head, Larson has the clear edge over Elliott. So yeah, with that said, I think Kyle Larson will have Chase Elliott's number at Indy, and I think Kyle Larson will win the inaugural 2025 NASCAR in-season tournament over Chase Elliott. I think it will come down to a 1-2 finish, and I think Larson will beat Elliott in it, and then Larson will make that 1-2 finish streak go to 8-1 in Larson's favor. But yeah, I have Kyle Larson winning the in-season tournament. Larson fans get the last laugh over Chase Elliott once again. And while Chase Elliott fans still cry over HMS favoritism for Larson, when there actually isn't no favoritism, it's already been confirmed there is no favoritism at HMS. It's just all cars are created equally. It's just in the end, Larson is just better than Chase. I know I just said the one thing LA fans don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Deal with it. But yeah, I got Kyle Larson winning the bracket shit, the in-season tournament over Elliott. But yeah, those are my predictions for this 2025 in-season tournament. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Hope everyone's a great day, and I'll see you all whatever I make next. I'm out. Now watch me be completely wrong after the first round, because that's just my luck with this crap.